Ready. Hello and welcome, you guys. It is Tuesday night, and it's the first Tuesday night of the month, which means it's time to talk about the comp plan. And we're excited to be here and to get to share with you. I really honestly cannot believe that it was a month ago that we were talking to you from a tiny New York hotel room, and we had just found out about Success Sprints. And we were excited, very excited. We were a little clueless, or maybe a lot clueless, and tried to navigate as best we could to know what this first month of January was going to look like. Now it's February. We've gotten through the first month. You guys knocked it out of the park based on as a team. So fun to get to watch all of that. And the contest is truly underway. But we wanted to make sure that even though we talked about it last month, and even though we're all excited about it, something happened yesterday. What happened yesterday in your virtual office?
We got our tracker.
We got our tracker. That's right. We got a tracker. And guess what happens when we get a tracker? It's kind of like, so much better, but it's kind of like a scale, right? You really don't know. You think your pants are kind of tight. You think you need to lose some weight, but until you get on the scale, you really don't know what kind of work you need to make happen in order to get the results that you want, right? And so that tracker is now there. A lot of you, I know there's going to be one or two of you that are probably have been writing down all your numbers as you are, added a customer, as you added an ambassador, you're tracking. And I love that. I want you to, if you can keep up with that, especially for those of you that are just starting to grow teams, make sure you're doing that. What I love to do is use my little daily calendar. And as someone joins, like I had a new customer that is ready to order tonight. So I write her name in on my calendar on that date so I can go back as a reference point and know where I'm collecting points. But now for those of you who are also like me, who in a big scheme of things are not very detail oriented, the tracker is so helpful to go, okay, now what? Now where do I need to really get to work? And when you see the work of your first month, the good news is you still have 57 days, you guys. 57, write that down, 57. You've got 57 days to make things happen with your business in this first Success Sprint. And we have the power to do something called snowball. What's the snowball effect, Phil?
The snowball effect is when something gains momentum, it gets bigger, 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 bigger.
Right. So what you may feel like you've done in planting a lot of seeds, maybe for the month of January, you didn't hit your goal of unlocking those Success Sprints, which is how many do you have to unlock to get the first 3 levels of prizes? How many ambassador or customers do you need to add? Just one, y'all, just one to unlock those first 3 prizes. And then at that level 4, 5, and 6, we need how many over the 3 months?
3.
More. Go up.
5.
Go up. One more. Add one more, Brenda. You're doing so good. I love your guesses.
6.
So 6, thank you. 6 is your magic number to unlock all of those prizes. Again, if you added none in January.
So is that 6 total through the whole thing or not 6 off? Okay, because I got 2 last month. I was really hoping for the 3rd, but I didn't get it. But I have one that I'm doing on Friday.
Awesome.
So that'll be my 3rd. So I was just wondering. Okay.
Yeah, so that'll be your 3rd. So you get all kinds of bonuses. And again,
can it be 5 customers, 1 ambassador?
Yes.
Can it be 5 ambassadors, 1 customer?
Yes.
So does that mean that they all have to be my customers? So I have someone underneath me that's supposed to be signing a couple people. How does that work with that?
So what's cool about the tracker and the Success Sprints is you're going to benefit from those people down 4 levels from you for a different point amount. So that's where it really starts to, again, not just momentum snowball, but as a team, if you can get like our theme for the month of duplication, if you can get another person doing what you're doing, you're going to get not quite double, but you're going to get more points.
Unlock, it's
can you go get Deal the dog?
Yes.
I can't deal with
5-second break. Hold on.
I was like, at least mine isn't barking.
I can't deal with it. I have auditory issues when
certain
times. You get overstimulated, overstimulation. I get it.
Just stop moving.
You're not talking, I'm talking, so you need to be quiet. Thank
It's a
you.
two-shot. Keep it together.
But in order to unlock though, Brenda, to answer your other question, to unlock all of the levels of prizes, you have to personally add level 1 customers or ambassadors, any combination of 6. So you have
Okay.
to, so you've got 4 more to kind of knock out by the end of March. So
Okay.
57 days, that's a little over 8 weeks, you guys. It's 8 weeks, 1 day. So use that again. You've got 2 things now to hold you as accountable. You've got your tracker in the back office, and then you've got a timeline, right? Because a goal without a timeline is really not a goal, right? So you have those 2 things that you want to work off of. The other thing that I really want to encourage you to do is to pay attention to the resources in your in your virtual office. If you click on virtual office and then you go to that left bar and you're going to see my business, you can go down and scroll down to recognition and incentives. And through that, you'll find success sprints. And there's several things that are downloadable, if that's a word. Y'all know that I like to laminate. So I have this as a reference point to share when I'm talking to ambassadors, but also to reference myself. I've made a couple of notes with the dry erase. And then there's a success sprint paper tracker if you want this to kind of go, where else can I go find points if I haven't added an ambassador or a customer? And you can go through and go, oh, I hadn't thought of that. I'll reach out to that person. Or, oh, I can go and set my subscription a little bit higher because I know I'm going to spend that anyway.
I've noticed that people born prior to 1980 like this. It's called paper.
It's not funny. It's helpful. So that is your success sprint tracker. The other thing that you need to realize starting this month, anyone that you added as a customer or an ambassador, it's really critical, not only for their success, which this whole mantra of 3 people, 3 products for 3 months, but it is really, really important for you not to miss out on the opportunity. Like Rainey, we talked about in the huddle yesterday morning, taking good care of the business that you've already gotten instead of just going to fish for new business that you don't know whether or not you're going to be able to take care of. Well, one of our new leaders, Hector and Paula from Mexico, they're amazing. They just fast started Senior Gold in 33 days. They are definitely experienced and understand direct sales. And when we were talking to them about whether or not it made sense to push for this next rank, they were like, we want to make sure we do a good job of taking care of what we have. And that is a sign of a good leader. That is a sign of, if you have one person on your team that has some fires in their pot, but they don't know how to close, guess what? It's going to be a better use of your time to help them find some success. If you have a customer that has just started the triplex and they have questions, it is a better use of your time to go in and make sure that they're successful, that you help find the best regimen for them. And I know we always deal with once somebody comes in, it's hard to catch them up, but make sure you're taking care of what you have, because all of that will benefit you on your tracker instead of feeling like, now I got to go find 3 more people. Now I got to go find 2 more customers or whatever it might be. That's really going to, again, take that snowball effect, and you'll be really, really happy with those results that come in just about 8 weeks. Anything
Okay.
else?
Well, you're talking about doing all this stuff, but why? What are some of the things that we're trying to earn?
Well, cold hard cash is always good, right? And so there are 3 different prize levels that are cash. The very first prize level is 500 credits. And that is $100 added to your check that end of that March, right? For March, so into April. How awesome is that? That you know that just by doing what you're already doing to grow your business, you're going to not only benefit from all those extra commissions that happen over the next 3 months, but you're going to get that bonus. 750 credits, you guys, you get that sports pack, which I know our son is super excited about. He wants that. It's those like some kind of AirPod things, and a smartwatch. Then at that next level is $500 cash, then a Surface Pro or MacBook Air. And then that 5th level is $1,500 in cash. Who wants $1,500? for working extra for
So-
3 months, right?
From 500 points to 2,500 points, there's prizes along the way, and you
Mhm.
get them all.
You
if get
do.
to-
They all
they
stack.
stack.
So if you're getting the $1,500, you're really getting $2,100. Whoop, whoop.
Cool.
Yeah,
What else you got?
that's it.
All
I think
right.
it's just important to keep talking about it, right? And if you have questions, share them in the chat. Phil's going to kind of switch gears for a minute, and then we'll take questions at the end, because I'm sure if you have the question, likely someone else has it too.
Cool. So stick them in the chat. Jen will work the computer. And I'm going to transition and talk about taxes. So either everyone's going to just leave or hopefully everyone will tune in. So I love taxes, by the way. Taxes have never scared me. And I'll give you a quick aside. Jen's dad was a tax accountant. My father sold tax software. So I've kind of grown up in taxes. Let me start off by saying that the information I'm going to share with you all tonight is for informational purposes only. It's not intended to substitute for tax, accounting, or financial advice, and you should seek a professional for that. So having said that, the reason that we're talking about it tonight is that on the 31st of January was the deadline. You don't have to move away. You can stay right
No,
next
it's
to
all
me.
right. I'm good.
Was the deadline for companies that paid you money to send you either a 1099 or a W-2. Fun little aside, if they didn't send that to you in mail by the 31st, technically they're in violation, and some would say you don't even have to report that income. But put that aside. Most people got it, or you're in the process of getting it. It had to be post-dated by the 31st. And now people are doing it electronically. So let's just use the premise that you got $10,000 in 1099 income from Plexus this year. When you get 1099 income, I want you to, instead of use the word income, I want you to think of the word revenue, because income is what you're taxed on. Revenue is, or income comes from revenue less expenses. Okay, so 1099 is revenue. You have expenses to earn that revenue. That is your, after that you subtract that, you get your income. You're taxed on your income. So you got a 1099. I want to assume that 1099 was like for $10,000. I'm going to give you 20 to 25 things that you can use this year to offset that revenue with expenses so that you have the lowest amount of income and thus pay the lowest amount of taxes. All of this is legal. And again, this is just information, not advice. Good? Okay. Before I jump into that, Jen's heard this for years. She hates it, but I'm going to say it again. You get taxed on income. And as a business owner, it's really hard for me to turn a profit. So think about that, because you get taxed on profit. So I have a trouble turning profit every year. It's hard. Okay. So good. Questions in the chat. I'll kind of buzz through this so you can think about these things. Using that $10,000 as you in your mind, remember this. First thing you can deduct when you have a business, which you do, is business meals. The only thing that constitutes a business meal is that you discuss business. So the joke in our family is when we go out to eat, I either say the word energy or I say, let's talk about Plexus for
Which
5
we do
seconds.
anyway, all the time anyway. So it's not like it's just saying
Now
the
it's a
word.
business meal. Now I can take that cost as a business expense. I recommend, not advice, recommend that you keep receipts for that, or you go back to your checking account or however you track it, and those are business expenses. Work-related travel expenses. Who knows that the Mangoes like to go on vacations and travel a lot?
COVID or no COVID, right?
Yes, we like to travel. One of the reasons we like to travel is it is a business expense. When we were in New York moving in our son, what did we do, Jen? What did we have?
We had a Plexus. We had a call. We had a meeting
We had a meeting.
from our hotel room.
Guess what? What constitutes a travel
several
expense?
meetings,
We had
actually.
several. What constitutes a travel expense is that you are away from your home, and it's reasonable that you cannot return to your home. In other words, it's like one day, or you have to rest before returning home. That's a travel related expense, which means you can deduct 100% of all the expenses on that trip towards your revenue. So take that $10,000. If you went to see someone overnight, all those expenses incurred are
So
expenses.
think of if you went and traveled to go meet with somebody that you were sharing Plexus with, that's a potential, but you're sharing that business opportunity, right?
Got it.
Holidays. obviously.
Okay, so that's two things. Just again, use that 10,000. How much can I deduct now? In my mind, with just those two, I've already knocked off around $2,000-$3,000 in expenses. Okay. Office expense. If you either own a home or even if you have an apartment, a certain portion of that can be used as an office space. Typically it's 10%. The new rule this year is that you can deduct a maximum of 300 square feet at $5 a square foot. So our home office is a $1,500 deduction from our expenses. It's that home office expense, bang, right off the top. So we've got 10, we've got 2 off of that, we've got now $1,500. So now we're down to about $6,500 in revenue, okay? Or income, I should say. Office supplies, okay? That can be everything from printer paper to anything that it takes to kind of run your business. You're sending out samples, those are office expenses, those are business expenses. Office supplies are another one you can deduct.
My laminator.
Here's a big one. Who here has a cell phone? Raise your hand. How many of you make calls for Plexus on your cell phone? You can deduct the entire cell phone monthly bill times 12 against your revenue. Same thing with internet. Who uses the internet? Guess
None
what?
of these crazy people.
Everyone uses internet. You're using it right now. You can deduct that entire monthly expense times 12 against your revenue. See how this is all adding up? This is why I say it's really hard to turn a profit, because you're taxed on revenue or you're taxed on profit. Profit, which is income. Tough to turn a profit. Okay, we're moving on. Banking fees, interest that you pay on loans that maybe if you used a loan to start this business, which you probably didn't, but any sort of banking fees deductible. If you depreciate an asset, so for example, there was a farm equipment tax that you could have used years ago. Anything 6,000 a vehicle that was 6,000 pounds or greater. So what did we do? We went and got a SUV, because SUVs were over 6,000 pounds. And thus we could depreciate that entire SUV purchase over the course of 5 years, straight line expense.
Is that the case still or no?
You can still deduct, yes, you can still depreciate 6,000 pound vehicles. Again, electric professional. But we're talking about 10,000 bucks. You can easily find this. You can reduce that down. All right. Professional service fees. If you do coaching, if you get charged, you did
A virtual assistant.
no, that's not professional. If you have a tax accountant,
Oh.
their fee from the previous year and the current year can be deducted against your revenue. Charitable contributions. This is a big one. Jen and I are obviously, I don't want to go preach there, but we give and we give and we give and give. All of that is deductible. Your child care, your dependent care, deductible. Your medical expenses. If you either pay your own insurance or there's insurance that's not covered that you come out of pocket for, that can be taken out against your revenue. Real estate taxes, mortgage interest, if you moved or had moving expenses, advertising and promotion. How many of you advertise your business in some form or fashion? Yes.
Who's ever done a vendor booth, right? A vendor table.
All those things. And I don't want to go into the gray of advertising, but there are lots of areas that you can claim as advertising, and you can look that up and figure that out. One of my favorites is client and employee entertainment. So again, you meet someone to talk about Plexus. You meet someone who's going to be potentially a prospect or a client. That is an entertainment expense. If you have meetings with your leaders and you go out and go do an event, go to golf or go to whatever, you spend money on your people, that's an expense. So those are about 20, 22 different expenses. Of those 20 I listed, I promise you, you could take that $10,000 in revenue and take it to about $500 in actual income. Now, a lot of you are going to sit here right now and go, but Phil, I don't have receipts. I don't keep receipts everywhere. And again, I'm not a tax professional. I don't claim to be, but I'll say this very boldly and directly. You need receipts for an audit. You don't need receipts to file your taxes. So we're coming up with these expenses. If you can find you're through bank statements or through really good estimation, then you can use those expenses. Again, not telling you what to do, just letting you know. Don't get stuck in the forest trying to look through the trees. If that makes any sense.
Well, and you're using common sense. It's not like you're saying, well, we spent $4,000 in the month of December on dinners for people, right? And you
Yeah.
made $10,000. They're not going to believe that,
Right.
right? That's totally ridiculous. But if you said, I think we went twice to dinner with people that I could count, that was about maybe $80 if there was two people. That's like within reason, right? So you use your head with some of that.
Yeah. We went out to dinner with some leaders recently, and that bill's getting deducted. Just let you know for sure.
We talked
Couple more
taxes.
things. Postage that you use to send out samples, continuing education courses, parking. When you go to an event and you valet or you park, all of that's an expense. Your car expenses, maintenance on your car, because if you use your car to go visit or go sign up someone or go pick up products, whatever it may be, that becomes a business expense, and you can either deduct the expenses of the car or maintenance of the car or the mileage. If you're doing your own health insurance, talked about that.
What about like if we buy product and we gift it?
Yeah. So without getting too much in the weeds, I see and I've used product purchases that are not used for personal consumption as a business expense because I'm trying to ascertain more business. I'm using that product to do so. To me, that's a business expense, and our accountant agrees. Gifts to clients are 100% deductible up to about $25 per person per year. So that's the $25 rule on that. I think that's about it for right now.
Sarah
So,
probably got questions.
so we'll go
About
to the, yeah,
expired
we'll
products.
go to the, yeah. How about expired product?
I
Doesn't matter.
wish.
Sure. So
I don't have any though.
at $10,000, just using rough math, if you're taxed at 20%, you'd owe $2,000 to the IRS. Okay. But when you take the 10,000 and then you list all these expenses and your income becomes more like $1,000, instead of a $200 bill, you've now got or $2,000 bill, you have a $200 bill. Make sense? So, like I said, it's tough to turn a profit. You can actually have a loss in your business as well. 3 out of 5 years, but no 2 consecutive. So if I made 10,000, but I had $12,000 in expenses, then I'd actually get money back. I couldn't do that next year. I'd have to have a small profit or be profitable. And then the following year I could have a loss. The next year I could be profitable. The following year I could have a loss.
Can we tell them too what I learned tonight about, like, I knew that we got taxed on, like, when we go to Hawaii, we get a tax on our 1099 about that, or our car payment.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think a
gifts-
lot of people realize that. So I think that's important to talk about.
Sometimes in your 1099, depending on the company, and different companies depends on how they do it. But when you're gifted something, that is taxable. So, for example, if you got CBD,
And
hemp,
oil.
right? The value of that's around $79. And so even though you might pay 18 or 19 in shipping, the company could, and I think they do, will send you a 1099 for the value of that $79 gift. So again, it's up to you to reduce that revenue through expenses so that you're not taxed on it.
The same goes for perks. So when you turn in your perks, you might see a $39.95 charge for, for product gift. And you're like, what is that? That's from a perk because you received it as a gift, but you're getting taxed on it.
Yeah.
So just like the company is businesses take advantage of the tax laws because that's what the rules are for them. That's where, again, I think you take the advice of Phil and
Not advice, it's just information.
and look at it a little more closely to see, hey, where can we take some deductions to offset?
Yeah. Exactamundo. Questions on anything, on success sprints, on taxes, you name it.
Not on movie quotes.
Can I ask a question about leveling up to a gold?
Sure.
I know that I was 10 people. I currently have 4 or 5 underneath me. So
Okay.
does that 10 would be totally underneath me, or does that also include people underneath me?
So we're going to share, actually, it's funny you asked this because I have a really great graphic that I considered sharing tonight. And I was like, it's just too much information to share it all in one time. But for every rank, first of all, in your resources in your back office, there is a chart. I think it says it's the rank to roadmap. It's changed its name a couple times, but there's a rank to gold roadmap. And it's actually 20 people, but that's 20 people in your organization. So that means when you hear the word organization, that takes you directly off the hook. That means that they don't have to be your level ones because anyone you've directly added to your business is a level 1. Now, let's say, Brenda, you add Megan as a level 1 to you, and Megan adds Gloria. Gloria is in your organization, but she's not your level 1. Megan's your level 1, and then Gloria is Megan's level 1, which makes her your level 2. So if you envision yourself in a circle, and that's where people misconstrue the whole pyramid scheme. It's not a pyramid scheme, but that you see that your business, you're Brenda at the top, then there's Megan, and under Megan is Gloria. And then let's say Megan also adds Nicole. Nicole's also in your organization. Now there's 3 people under you, but you've added just 1. And to get to gold, it's a numbers game. It's 100 points. If we think about, you're really usually as a gold ambassador, when you're working towards that, you're not going to have more than 3 levels down.
So let's just use our current example. Make it really simple, babe. So 5 people.
Thought I was.
We're getting there. 5 people. That's 5 level 1s. 5 times 5 is 25.
25.
We need 100 points. So if those 5 people each get 3 people, that's 15 level 2s. Level 2s are worth 5 points. 15 times 5 is?
How is this easier?
75.
They're all shaking their head. No. Just so you know.
25
I'm talking
plus,
to a bunch of women.
Shush, 25 plus 75 equals?
100.
100. So 5 level 1s, each of them gets 3 people. That's another 75. Now you've hit your 100 points.
Gotcha.
The way,
Okay.
if you get 20, you get 20 yourself. 20 times 5 is 100.
But it's hard. That's
Yeah.
hard to do. And it's really, like I talked about at the very beginning, right? You want to spend your time taking good care of what you have underneath you, so that not one person shows up and they order 1 month and then they're gone the next month, right? And then
Mhm.
you've got to have those 100 points all within that 1 month. So all 20 people need to have ordered all together so that we get there. But you're doing a great job. I mean, to have 4 or 5 people, gold, we all say as leaders collectively, gold is the hardest, one of the hardest ranks to achieve, because you do feel like you're working so hard on your own before that momentum really takes off and you see that duplication.
So if you do it the right way, which sounds like you're doing, you get to gold, then start that snowball effect where it goes quicker and quicker and quicker.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
bet.
But I will tag you on that post when I make it.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Más preguntas?
Phil, I have a question on real estate taxes.
Hit me.
Because you said you can deduct real estate taxes. I'm not a guru when it comes to that kind of stuff,
Sure.
but we file like our personal taxes and deduct our real estate taxes on that.
Yeah.
So when you're doing your business taxes,
So it depends on, right. So if you've got W-2 income as
Mhm.
well as 1099 income, then typically you do the real estate on the W-2 and not on what's called a Schedule C, where you have all of your 1099 income.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Got all that?
You do, and that's what's important. I'll keep you around for the taxes.
Okay, thanks.
Just kidding. So everybody's excited to file their taxes now?
We don't file ours till October.
We wait.
Yeah. that's
Tell
all right.
them why you like to wait though. 'Cause it makes some
Uh,
people crazy.
Yeah, so I like to wait because I don't like to give the government a loan on my money for interest free. And then the way my income works with my business, it staggers throughout the year. So I just do an extension in April, gives me 6 extra months. Then I put everything together.
October's always fun.
And then, yeah, I get Donald Trump type returns. It's fine.
October is the best month of the year.
Is it? Yes, I love October. I agree. We got married in October.
My birthday's in October.
Your birthday's in October. Oh, that's
Do
awesome.
people ever play quarterly? Do they do that sometimes? So you're not paying so much back at the end of the year if you can't find deductions?
Yeah, my business partner does that, and he's like, I got a refund. And I said, congratulations, you gave the government a free interest-free loan. Well done. But yes.
Rainey can
um,
answer to that too, because I
yeah,
know she's
go
done
for
that.
it.
Well, and I've done my taxes differently over the years per the advice of my accountant. And yeah, you can do it quarterly, you can do it monthly. I think the practice is to be disciplined. And so if it, to me, it's like it's taking that money out. But there are years that I'd rather hang on to the cash. So just as long as you have the money when it's tax time, whether that's April or October, you're great. And Sheila, where you're at, I might advise you to get an accountant who can help you get creative. Phil offered like the most amazing advice. The other piece that I don't know if the Mangos do, but I know my accountant does, is my family are my employees, and I can pay them up to a certain amount under a Farmstead Taxation Act from way back when. And so they're on payroll as employees for a certain amount, and you can do that for every member of your family living under your roof. You may even be able to do your grandkids. I'm not really sure how that works, but there are little, like Phil said, use the laws to your advantage because others are for sure as well. It's legal.
Thank you, Rainey. 'Cause, yeah, we're getting to that point where some of that needs to be taken care of.
Yeah, I love doing a seminar in Maui every year with a financial advisor. That we would talk about all this stuff and do something. And then I got to write off the whole Maui trip. So yeah.
You're such a stinker. I think the key is just being open. I think what happens, right, is when we feel uncomfortable about something or fearful, we just shut down and we don't even look into it or ask questions. And I think that the biggest thing we want you to do is to feel confident. Don't feel like you're doing anything to cheat anyone out of anything. And especially I think coming out of a year like we've just come out of, it's very uncertain times. And so looking at everything you can to maximize to keep the money that you've earned in your family's pockets is really important. Really, really important. So, all right.
I really appreciate your advice on this, Phil. It's I'm happy I
Advice
signed it.
is just information.
Jen, did you hear that?
I did. He said yes. He's bound and determined to argue with everyone today.
It's not arguing. I'm protecting myself legally. It's just information.
I think it's a man thing because my husband was like that yesterday.
I
Okay.
thought he was gonna say it's not today. It's not arguing. It's not
Every day. Right. That's true. They all know you, Bill. They all know you cannot pretend.
Well, see you later.
Thank you,
Just
though.
think-
All right. Well, thank you guys for being here. If you don't have any other questions, but, and if you think of something later, you can message us. We'll have this recording up shortly, either not tonight, but probably tomorrow, maybe tonight. Who knows? I'm not going to, Rainey recorded it for us, so who knows? But where me at will be tomorrow. So, oh my word, y'all. I need a vacation from my family. I'm just saying.
Or a glass of wine.
I can't have any wine right now.
Oh.
I mean, I could actually if I wanted to, but it's all good. I'm fine. We just need some non-togetherness. But if you have questions about the success sprints, make sure, I really think looking at that, go into your back office, go take a look at that number, see where you're at. Don't get discouraged if it's 0. Don't get discouraged if it's lower than you thought. It's all good. You have more than enough time to make a huge impact, to hit some goals, and pick a number, pick one of the prize levels, right? And go for that as a minimum. Tell yourself, this is at a minimum what I expect of myself. Because when we set that expectation too, we'll rise above that. And who knows, when maybe we'll all be in Paris together this time next year, or planning a trip anyway, right?
We.
All right. Such a- Love you. Somebody let